Lily, a 7-year-old girl, had a life that was anything but easy. Orphaned and forced to live on the streets, she faced each day with a mix of innocence and unexpected bravery. Despite her circumstances, there was a light in her eyes that spoke of dreams and hope. Her heart ached for a place of warmth and security. Every day was a struggle for survival, yet she confronted it with a strength that belied her tender age. The bustling city streets had become both her playground and her battleground. Mr. Anderson was a man who had built his reputation and wealth with sheer determination. As the owner of the city's most luxurious restaurant, he was known for his strict adherence to high standards and a demeanor as frosty as the chilled wine he served. His restaurant was a sanctuary for the elite, a place where every detail was meticulously controlled. Mr. Anderson's life revolved around maintaining the perfect image, leaving no room for the chaos of the outside world. His success was marked by discipline, precision, and an unyielding nature. Lily's motivations were driven by the simplest yet most powerful need: hunger. The rich aromas that wafted from Mr. Anderson's restaurant were a cruel reminder of what she lacked. Each day, she would stand outside, her stomach growling, her eyes filled with longing. The hunger she felt was more than physical. It was a hunger for a better life, for a chance to be a child again. Her desperation grew with each passing day, pushing her closer to taking a bold step into the unknown world of the restaurant. Mr. Anderson's personality was a study in contrasts. Outwardly, he was the epitome of control and success, his every move calculated to maintain his image. Inwardly, however, there were memories and experiences he had long buried. His rigid policies and cold demeanor were his shields against the vulnerability he had once known. To him, the sight of a street child like Lily in his restaurant was an affront, a disruption to the order he had fought so hard to establish. The moment Lily entered the restaurant, it was as if two worlds collided. The opulence of the place was overwhelming, a stark contrast to the harsh streets she knew. Her presence was a shock to the patrons and staff, a disruption to their usual routines. This unexpected encounter set the stage for a story neither Lily nor Mr. Anderson could have anticipated. It was a moment charged with tension, curiosity, and an unspoken challenge to the status quo. Lily's emotions were a whirlwind of fear and determination. She felt the stares of the patrons, the judgment in their eyes, but she stood her ground. Her small frame and ragged clothes were out of place in the elegant surroundings, yet she was driven by a need that overshadowed her fear. In that instant, she became a symbol of resilience and hope, her presence a silent plea for compassion. This moment marked the beginning of a journey that would test her strength and courage. Mr. Anderson's reaction was initially predictable. His instinct was to remove the disruption, to restore the order he valued so highly. However, something in Lily's eyes gave him pause. They mirrored a past he had long buried, a time when he too had faced hardship. This moment of hesitation was significant, a crack in the armor of his indifference. It was the first step in a journey that would challenge his beliefs and open his heart to possibilities he had long dismissed. The relationship between Lily and Mr. Anderson began as a clash of needs and worlds. She was driven by hunger and hope, while he was bound by his rules and reputation. Their interaction was a delicate dance of defiance and curiosity. Lily's presence in the restaurant was a challenge to Mr. Anderson's carefully maintained order. Yet, within this confrontation lay the seeds of something transformative, a connection that neither of them could yet fully understand. Lily's presence was a catalyst for change. The other patrons and staff watched with a mix of curiosity and discomfort. The tension in the air was palpable as they awaited Mr. Anderson's decision. Lily's silent plea was not just for food but for acknowledgement, for a moment of kindness in a world that had shown her little. This moment held the potential to bridge the gap between two very different lives, to create a story of unexpected transformation. As Mr. Anderson looked into Lily's eyes, he felt a stirring of emotions he had long suppressed. Her vulnerability and courage resonated with a part of him he had tried to forget. This was more than a simple request for food. It was a moment that challenged his very identity. In this brief encounter, the stage was set for a journey that would test the limits of compassion and change the course of their lives. The unfolding story promised to be one of hope, transformation, and the power of human connection. Lily's tiny frame slipped through the grand doors of Mr. Anderson's restaurant, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. The warmth and richness of the interior contrasted sharply with the cold streets she had left behind. As she stood in the entrance, her eyes wide with wonder and trepidation, the room fell silent. Patrons and staff alike turned to stare, their conversations halting mid-sentence. The tension in the air was thick, every eye fixed on the little girl who dared to cross the threshold. The luxurious ambience of the restaurant was a world away from Lily's daily reality. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over elegantly set tables, and the soft murmur of refined conversation filled the air. Lily, with her ragged clothes and disheveled hair, was a stark contrast to the polished elegance around her. Her presence was an unexpected interruption, a curious anomaly that drew the attention of everyone in the room. The silence that followed her entrance was charged with curiosity and judgment. Lily's stomach growled audibly, a painful reminder of the hunger that had driven her here. She took a hesitant step forward, her eyes darting around the room. The patrons watched her with a mix of curiosity and disdain, their privileged lives far removed from her struggles. The waitstaff exchanged uncertain glances, unsure of how to handle this unexpected situation. Lily felt the weight of their stares, but her need for food overpowered her fear. She took another step, her small voice barely above a whisper as she asked for something to eat. Mr. Anderson emerged from the kitchen, drawn by the unusual quiet in the dining room. His gaze fell on Lily, and his expression hardened. He prided himself on maintaining a certain image, and a street child did not fit into that picture. His immediate reaction was one of irritation. This disruption was unacceptable. However, there was something in Lily's eyes, a mix of determination and desperation, that gave him pause. For a moment, he was reminded of his own past, though he quickly pushed the memory aside. The patrons watched with bated breath as Mr. Anderson approached Lily. His reputation for strictness was well known, and many expected him to expel the child without a second thought. The tension in the room was palpable, a silent expectation hanging in the air. Lily stood her ground, her small frame dwarfed by the grandeur of the restaurant and the imposing figure of Mr. Anderson. Her heart raced, but she held his gaze, silently pleading for a chance, for a moment of kindness. The atmosphere in the restaurant was electric, each second stretching into what felt like minutes. The waitstaff stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene or wait for Mr. Anderson's command. The patrons' eyes flicked between Lily and Mr. Anderson, their curiosity mingled with a desire to see how this drama would unfold. The silence was almost unbearable, a heavy blanket of anticipation that pressed down on everyone in the room. Lily's courage was a fragile thing, but it held firm in the face of this daunting situation. Lily's voice, though soft, carried the weight of her need. "Please, sir, I'm so hungry," she said, her eyes never leaving Mr. Anderson's face. The simplicity of her request cut through the tension like a knife. Mr. Anderson's initial impulse was to refuse, to maintain the order he valued so highly. But there was something in her plea that touched a long-buried part of him. He hesitated, a flicker of conflict crossing his stern features. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for his response. As Mr. Anderson stood there, the memory of his own struggles crept into his mind. He remembered the days when he, too, had faced hunger and desperation. This moment was a mirror, reflecting a part of his past he had tried to forget. Lily's presence was a stark reminder of the life he had left behind. The recognition in her eyes stirred something deep within him. The rigid lines of his face softened, and he found himself at a crossroads, torn between his policies and his humanity. The room remained silent, the tension unbroken. Mr. Anderson's inner struggle was visible to all, rare glimpse of vulnerability in the man known for his unyielding demeanor. Lily stood her ground, her small frame a testament to her bravery. The patrons watched, their initial judgment giving way to a more profound curiosity. This was no longer just a child asking for food. It was a moment that held the potential for something extraordinary. The unfolding drama captivated everyone, their attention fixed on the unlikely pair. Mr. Anderson finally spoke, his voice soft but firm. "Let's see what we can do," he said, the words surprising even himself. The tension in the room eased, replaced by a collective sense of relief and wonder. Lily's face lit up with hope, her courage vindicated. This small act of kindness marked the beginning of a change, not just for Lily, but for Mr. Anderson and everyone present. The stage was set for a journey that would challenge perceptions and transform lives in ways no one could yet imagine. As Lily stood in the center of the restaurant, Mr. Anderson's stern gaze fixed on her. The air grew thick with anticipation. The wealthy patrons, used to impeccable service and a flawless ambience, watched intently. They expected Mr. Anderson to act swiftly, to preserve the pristine environment they cherished. Lily's heart raced as she waited for his decision, her small hands clenched at her sides. This moment was a test of wills, a clash between survival and reputation. Mr. Anderson's initial impulse was to restore order by removing the source of disruption. His restaurant was a sanctuary of elegance, and a street child had no place in it. Yet, as he prepared to speak, a memory from his past flickered in his mind. He remembered the days when he, too, had been hungry and desperate. This unexpected empathy caused a moment of hesitation, a crack in his otherwise unyielding demeanor. The conflict within him was palpable, visible to all who watched. The room was silent, the tension almost tangible. Patrons whispered among themselves, speculating on how the situation would unfold. Mr. Anderson's hesitation was unexpected, and it added an element of suspense. The staff, usually swift and efficient, were frozen in uncertainty. Lily's plea for food had not just disrupted the restaurant's routine. It had challenged its very essence. The conflict was no longer just about a hungry child. It was about compassion versus rigidity. Mr. Anderson's mind raced as he considered his options. He could easily expel Lily and restore the status quo, but something about her determination struck a chord. He saw a reflection of his younger self in her eyes, a reminder of his own struggles. This realization sparked an internal battle, one that pitted his strict policies against a buried sense of empathy. The conflict was intense, a storm of emotions that he struggled to control. The patrons sensed this, their curiosity piqued by the unfolding drama. Lily stood her ground, her courage unwavering despite the daunting circumstances. She could see the internal struggle in Mr. Anderson's eyes, a flicker of hope igniting in her heart. This was a moment of reckoning, where the outcome could change the course of her life. Her hunger and desperation were palpable, yet her spirit remained unbroken. The challenge was not just to get food, but to break through the barrier of indifference that Mr. Anderson had built around himself. The patrons' reactions were mixed. Some were uncomfortable, shifting in their seats, while others were intrigued, leaning forward to catch every detail. The waitstaff remained still, their usual roles disrupted by the unexpected scenario. Mr. Anderson's internal conflict was mirrored in the room, a microcosm of a larger societal issue. This was not just a story of a child and a restaurateur. It was a story about human connections and the barriers we create. The challenge was both personal and universal. Mr. Anderson's hesitation stretched into an agonizing pause. He felt the weight of the patron's expectations and his own rigid standards. Yet, the memory of his past struggles gnawed at him, refusing to be silenced. This moment was a turning point, a chance to either uphold his strict policies or to let his humanity shine through. The conflict within him was fierce, a battle between his head and his heart. Lily's eyes, filled with both fear and hope, seemed to penetrate his defenses. The patrons' whispers grew louder as the silence dragged on. They were witnessing something unprecedented, a moment that defied the usual script. Mr. Anderson's restaurant was a place of predictability and perfection, but today, it was the stage for an unexpected drama. The challenge for Mr. Anderson was clear. Would he choose compassion over convention? The outcome was uncertain, but the tension kept everyone on edge. Lily's fate hung in the balance, a silent plea for mercy. Mr. Anderson finally broke the silence, his voice low but steady. "Why don't you come with me?" he said, surprising everyone, including himself. This decision marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would challenge his preconceived notions and test his character. The conflict was far from over, but this moment was a significant step. Lily's eyes widened with hope, her courage rewarded. The restaurant, usually a place of routine, had become a battleground for empathy and change. As Lily followed Mr. Anderson, the tension in the room began to ease. The patrons returned to their conversations, though the topic was now the unexpected event they had just witnessed. The staff resumed their duties, though with a newfound respect for their employer's decision. The conflict had not just been about a single meal. It had been about breaking down barriers and challenging norms. This moment set the stage for a deeper transformation, one that would unfold in the days to come. Mr. Anderson stood still, his mind racing with conflicting thoughts. The rigid policies he had enforced for years clashed with the sudden surge of empathy he felt for Lily. The restaurant, usually a haven of order and luxury, was now a battleground of emotions. He glanced around at the expectant faces of the patrons, their judgment weighing heavily on him. Lily, standing bravely before him, was a living reminder of the hardships he had once faced. The tension was palpable, each second stretching into an eternity. Lily's heart pounded as she watched Mr. Anderson's internal struggle. She had faced rejection and indifference countless times, but something about this man gave her hope. The silence in the restaurant was suffocating, every eye on them. Her desperation was evident, but so was her courage. She stood her ground, silently pleading for a chance, for a moment of kindness. The suspense was almost unbearable, each moment a test of her resolve and Mr. Anderson's conscience. The staff exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to do. They had never seen Mr. Anderson hesitate like this. His strict rules were the backbone of their operations, and any deviation was unthinkable. Yet, here he was, caught in a moment of vulnerability. Lily's presence had disrupted the usual flow, creating a ripple effect that reached everyone in the room. The suspense was thick, a silent question hanging in the air. What would he do? Mr. Anderson's mind flashed back to his own childhood, to the days when he had been in Lily's shoes. The memory of those hungry, desperate days was something he had buried deep, yet now it resurfaced with startling clarity. He saw himself in Lily, a reflection of his past that he had tried so hard to forget. This realization was a turning point, a crack in his otherwise impenetrable facade. The suspense grew as he weighed his options, his heart battling his head. Lily's emotions were a whirlwind of fear and hope. She had never expected to be the center of such attention, and the weight of it was overwhelming. Yet, there was a glimmer of something in Mr. Anderson's eyes that gave her strength. She sensed his internal conflict, the struggle between his rigid rules and a flicker of compassion. The tension was almost unbearable, each second a test of her patience and faith. She stood firm, her eyes locked on his, silently begging for mercy. The patrons watched in silence, their initial curiosity turning into genuine interest. This was more than just an interruption to their meal. It was a human drama unfolding before their eyes. The tension in the room was a shared experience, each person feeling the weight of the moment. Mr. Anderson's struggle was visible to all, rare glimpse into the man behind the reputation. The suspense was almost tangible, a collective breath held in anticipation of his next move. Mr. Anderson's hesitation was a battle between his past and his present. The memory of his own hardships clashed with the image he had worked so hard to create. He had built his restaurant on principles of excellence and exclusivity, yet here he was, faced with a decision that could undermine those very foundations. The tension in his chest mirrored the atmosphere in the room, a tight, almost painful pressure. The suspense was agonizing, each moment a testament to the power of empathy. Lily's presence had stirred something deep within Mr. Anderson, a long-buried sense of compassion. The staff watched, their usual efficiency halted by the unexpected scenario. They had never seen him like this, and it unsettled them. The restaurant, usually a place of order and predictability, was now filled with uncertainty. The tension was electric, a silent challenge to Mr. Anderson's authority and character. The suspense was almost unbearable, a test of his ability to change. The patrons' whispers grew louder as the silence stretched on. They were witnessing a moment of profound significance, a departure from the norm that captivated them. Mr. Anderson's internal conflict was mirrored in the room, a shared experience that drew everyone in. The tension was almost unbearable, each second a testament to the struggle between compassion and convention. Lily's fate hung in the balance, a silent plea for mercy that resonated with everyone present. Mr. Anderson finally broke the silence, his voice steady but soft. "We'll find something for you," he said, his words surprising even himself. The tension in the room eased, replaced by a sense of relief and wonder. Lily's face lit up with hope, her courage vindicated. This decision marked the beginning of a transformation, not just for Lily, but for Mr. Anderson and everyone who had witnessed the moment. The suspense had given way to a new possibility, setting the stage for a journey of change and compassion. Mr. Anderson took a deep breath, his decision made. He approached Lily, his stern expression softening as he knelt to her level. The room watched in stunned silence as this normally aloof man reached out with unexpected kindness. "Are you hungry?" he asked gently, his voice filled with a warmth that surprised even him. This simple question marked a profound shift, a turning point that would change both their lives. Lily nodded, tears welling in her eyes as hope replaced her fear. The patrons were astonished by this unexpected turn of events. Mr. Anderson, known for his strict adherence to policy, was showing a side of himself that no one had ever seen. His act of kneeling before Lily was not just an offer of food. It was a gesture of empathy and recognition. This moment was transformative, breaking down barriers and challenging perceptions. The restaurant, usually a bastion of exclusivity, was now a stage for a powerful story of compassion. Mr. Anderson's revelation was deeply personal. As he looked into Lily's eyes, he saw a reflection of his own past struggles. He remembered the days when he had been hungry and desperate, and someone had extended a helping hand. This memory was a turning point, a reminder of the power of kindness. By helping Lily, he was not just offering food. He was giving her the same chance he had once received. This realization was a pivotal moment, one that redefined his understanding of success and generosity. Lily's reaction was one of pure gratitude. She could hardly believe what was happening. The man who had seemed so intimidating was now her savior. She felt a warmth in her chest, a feeling of safety she had not known in a long time. This was more than just a meal. It was a lifeline, a chance to believe in the goodness of people. Her eyes sparkled with unshed tears, her heart swelling with a mixture of relief and joy. This moment was the climax of her struggle, a turning point that offered hope. The restaurant staff watched with a mixture of awe and respect. They had never seen this side of Mr. Anderson. His decision to help Lily was a powerful statement, one that spoke of values they had not associated with him before. This act of kindness transformed their perception of him, making them see him in a new light. The turning point was not just for Lily and Mr. Anderson, but for everyone who witnessed it. It was a moment that redefined their understanding of compassion and leadership. As Mr. Anderson helped Lily to her feet, he made a decision that would change her life. "You'll have a warm meal," he said, his voice steady, "and a place to stay." This offer was more than Lily could have hoped for. Her tears flowed freely now, a release of the pent-up emotions she had carried for so long. This was not just a turning point. It was a miracle, a chance to rebuild her life. The restaurant, once a symbol of unattainable luxury, had become a beacon of hope and transformation. The patrons' reactions shifted from surprise to admiration. They had come for a meal and witnessed something extraordinary. Mr. Anderson's act of kindness resonated deeply with them, challenging their own views on generosity and privilege. This turning point was a powerful reminder of the impact one person can have. The restaurant, usually a place of rigid expectations, was now a place where change and compassion were possible. The atmosphere was charged with a new energy, one of hope and possibility. Lily's life began to change from that moment. Mr. Anderson's offer extended beyond a single meal. He decided to give her and her mother a chance to work in the restaurant, to rebuild their lives with dignity. This decision was transformative, offering a path out of poverty and despair. Lily's gratitude was immeasurable, her heart filled with a newfound sense of purpose. This turning point marked the beginning of a journey towards a better future, one filled with hope and opportunity. Mr. Anderson's restaurant, once a symbol of exclusivity, became a place of second chances. His act of kindness inspired others, creating a ripple effect that touched everyone involved. The turning point was not just a personal victory for Lily, but a communal transformation. The patrons, staff, and Mr. Anderson himself were all changed by this act of compassion. The restaurant, now a symbol of hope, became a testament to the power of generosity and empathy. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere in the restaurant was different. The turning point had created a sense of community and connection. Mr. Anderson's decision to help Lily was a catalyst for change, reminding everyone of the importance of kindness. The story of Lily and Mr. Anderson became an inspiration, a testament to the power of one act of compassion. The restaurant, once a place of rigid rules, was now a beacon of hope and transformation, setting the stage for the next chapter in their journey. Lily and her mother, now employed at Mr. Anderson's restaurant, found themselves in a world they had only dreamed of. The once oppressive atmosphere of the streets was replaced by the warm embrace of a supportive community. As Lily helped set tables and greet customers, she felt a sense of belonging and purpose. Her mother, working diligently in the kitchen, regained a dignity she had lost. The restaurant had become their sanctuary, a place where they could rebuild their lives with pride. Mr. Anderson's decision to help Lily and her mother had a ripple effect on the restaurant's community. The staff, inspired by his unexpected act of kindness, embraced the new additions with open arms. The initial tension that Lily's presence had caused was replaced by a spirit of camaraderie and mutual respect. The patrons, too, noticed the change. The restaurant, once a symbol of exclusivity, had become a beacon of hope and second chances. This moving resolution was a testament to the power of empathy. Lily's transformation was evident to all. The shy, hungry girl who had dared to enter the luxurious restaurant was now a confident and cheerful presence. She thrived in the supportive environment, her natural kindness and determination shining through. Her journey from the streets to the heart of the restaurant was a story that touched everyone who heard it. This resolution was more than just a happy ending. It was a profound change that highlighted the impact of compassion and opportunity. Mr. Anderson's reputation also underwent a transformation. Once known for his strict policies and distant demeanor, he was now celebrated for his generosity and leadership. His decision to help Lily and her mother had revealed a depth of character that many had not seen before. The moving resolution of this story was as much about his growth as it was about Lily's. He had reconnected with a part of himself that he had long ignored, finding fulfillment in acts of kindness. The restaurant itself became a symbol of change. Customers who had once come solely for the exquisite cuisine now found themselves part of a larger story. The moving resolution was reflected in the atmosphere of the restaurant, where kindness and community flourished. Patrons began to share their own stories of hardship and resilience, creating a tapestry of human experiences. The restaurant's transformation was a beacon of hope, a reminder that everyone deserves a second chance. Lily's mother, who had struggled to find stable work, flourished in her new role. She poured her heart into her cooking, finding joy in creating meals that brought people together. Her gratitude towards Mr. Anderson was immeasurable, and she made sure to convey it through her dedication. The moving resolution of their story was evident in the way they integrated into the restaurant's fabric, becoming indispensable members of the team. This was not just a job. It was a new beginning. The staff's reaction to Lily and her mother's presence was heartwarming. They had witnessed the transformative power of Mr. Anderson's decision and embraced it wholeheartedly. The moving resolution was seen in their willingness to support and mentor the newcomers. The sense of community that developed was palpable, a testament to the impact of one act of kindness. The restaurant became more than a place of work. It was a family where everyone looked out for each other. Mr. Anderson himself found a new sense of purpose. The moving resolution of helping Lily and her mother had rekindled a passion for making a difference. He began to implement small changes in the restaurant's policies, focusing on inclusivity and community engagement. This shift in focus brought a renewed energy to the business, attracting patrons who valued not just the food but the ethos behind it. The resolution was a win-win, benefiting both the restaurant and the broader community. The patrons who had witnessed the initial encounter between Lily and Mr. Anderson often returned, drawn by the inspiring story. They shared the tale with friends and family, spreading the message of hope and transformation. The moving resolution had a far-reaching impact, touching the lives of many who heard it. The restaurant became a symbol of what was possible when compassion and opportunity met. It was a beacon of hope, shining brightly in the community. As the days turned into months, the moving resolution of Lily's story continued to unfold. She and her mother became integral parts of the restaurant, their lives transformed by Mr. Anderson's kindness. The restaurant thrived, not just as a business, but as a symbol of second chances. The resolution was a reminder that one act of kindness could change lives in unimaginable ways. The journey that began with a hungry child's plea had turned into a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of compassion. The restaurant where Lily found solace was a marvel of elegance and sophistication. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a warm, inviting glow across the room. The tables were adorned with pristine white linens and polished silverware, each setting meticulously arranged. The soft hum of conversation and the gentle clinking of glasses created an ambience of refined luxury. The restaurant was a feast for the senses, a place where every detail was designed to provide a perfect dining experience. Lily, with her small frame and hopeful eyes, stood out against this backdrop of opulence. Her clothes were worn and ragged, a stark contrast to the elegant attire of the patrons. Yet, there was a light in her eyes that spoke of resilience and hope. Her presence added a touch of raw, unfiltered humanity to the otherwise polished environment. The visual contrast between Lily and her surroundings was striking, highlighting the dramatic transformation that was about to unfold. As Lily stepped into the restaurant, the rich aromas of gourmet cuisine enveloped her. The scent of freshly baked bread, savory meats, and delicate desserts mingled in the air, creating a tantalizing symphony of smells. Her stomach growled in response, a painful reminder of her hunger. The sensory overload was almost overwhelming, a stark contrast to the dull, lifeless streets she had left behind. Each breath she took was filled with the promise of warmth and sustenance. The patrons' initial reaction to Lily's presence was one of shock and discomfort. Their faces, previously relaxed and content, now bore expressions of surprise and curiosity. Whispers filled the room as they exchanged glances, their eyes flicking between Lily and Mr. Anderson. The visual and sensory details of this moment were vivid, capturing the tension and anticipation that hung in the air. The restaurant, usually a place of predictability, had become a stage for an unexpected drama. The atmosphere in the restaurant was electric as Mr. Anderson approached Lily. The soft lighting cast gentle shadows on his face, highlighting the lines of determination and empathy that played across his features. The room seemed to hold its breath, every eye fixed on the unfolding scene. The sensory details were palpable, from the muted rustle of cloth as patrons shifted in their seats to the quiet hum of anticipation that filled the air. This was a moment that transcended the ordinary, charged with emotional intensity. When Mr. Anderson knelt to Lily's level, the visual impact was profound. His tailored suit contrasted sharply with her tattered clothes, yet there was a unity in their shared humanity. The warmth in his eyes, the gentle tone of his voice, and the simple act of kneeling created a tableau of compassion and connection. The sensory details of this moment were etched into the memory of everyone present, a powerful reminder of the impact of empathy and kindness. The restaurant itself seemed to change as the evening progressed. The crystal chandeliers, the elegant table settings, and the rich aromas of gourmet food all contributed to an atmosphere of transformation. The visual and sensory details became symbols of the change that was taking place. Lily's journey from the streets to the heart of this luxurious environment was a testament to the power of compassion. Each detail, from the polished silverware to the soft hum of conversation, told a part of this remarkable story. Lily's mother, working in the kitchen, was surrounded by the sensory richness of culinary creation. The sizzle of food on the grill, the aromatic spices, and the rhythmic chopping of vegetables created a symphony of sounds and smells. She immersed herself in her work, finding joy in each dish she prepared. The visual and sensory details of the kitchen were a world away from the struggles they had faced, a place of creativity and renewal. This transformation was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The patrons, too, were affected by the visual and sensory details of the evening. The warm lighting, the elegant decor, and the delicious food all contributed to an atmosphere of introspection and connection. They shared knowing glances, their conversations tinged with a newfound appreciation for the story they had witnessed. The restaurant, with its blend of luxury and humanity, had become a place of reflection and empathy. Each sensory detail reinforced the profound impact of Mr. Anderson's act of kindness. As the night drew to a close, the visual and sensory details of the restaurant took on a new significance. The chandeliers glowed softly, casting a gentle light on the scene below. The rich aromas of the final courses lingered in the air, a reminder of the culinary journey that had accompanied the emotional one. Lily and her mother, now part of the restaurant's fabric, moved with confidence and purpose. The visual and sensory details of this place had been transformed, just as their lives had. The restaurant was now a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of compassion and the possibility of change. Lily's story resonated deeply with everyone who heard it. The young girl's journey from the harsh streets to the warmth of Mr. Anderson's restaurant was a testament to resilience and hope. As she worked alongside her mother in the restaurant, she became a symbol of the transformative power of kindness. The patrons felt a deep empathy for her, their hearts touched by her courage and determination. This emotional connection was palpable, a thread that bound them to Lily's story. Mr. Anderson's revelation of his own past struggles added another layer of emotional depth. His decision to help Lily was not just an act of charity, but a profound connection to his own experiences. This shared vulnerability created a bond between him and Lily that went beyond the immediate situation. The patrons, who had initially viewed him as distant and unapproachable, now saw him in a new light. His humanity and compassion shone through, creating a sense of sympathy and admiration. Lily's vulnerability and strength evoked a powerful response from the restaurant's community. Her quiet determination and unwavering hope were qualities that everyone could relate to on some level. The emotional connection was strengthened by her willingness to share her story, to let others see the world through her eyes. This openness created a sense of unity and shared purpose, making everyone feel like a part of her journey. The restaurant became a place where stories of struggle and triumph were shared and celebrated. The patrons' reactions to Lily's story were heartfelt and genuine. Many of them had faced their own challenges and saw a reflection of their experiences in her journey. This connection fostered a sense of empathy and understanding that transcended social and economic barriers. The emotional impact of Lily's story was profound, reminding everyone of the importance of kindness and community. The restaurant, once a symbol of exclusivity, had become a beacon of hope and compassion. Mr. Anderson's transformation was equally inspiring. His willingness to embrace his past and use it to help others created a deep emotional connection with his staff and patrons. They admired his courage in breaking away from rigid policies and embracing a more compassionate approach. This change in Mr. Anderson was a powerful reminder that it's never too late to make a difference. The emotional connection between him and Lily was a testament to the enduring power of empathy and generosity. The emotional connection extended beyond the restaurant's walls. News of Lily's story spread throughout the community, touching the hearts of many who heard it. People were inspired by the tale of a young girl's resilience and the unexpected kindness of a successful restaurateur. This connection created a ripple effect, encouraging others to reach out and help those in need. The impact of Lily's story was far-reaching, a beacon of hope that shone brightly in the community. Lily's mother, too, felt a profound emotional connection to the restaurant and its patrons. She was deeply grateful for the opportunity to rebuild her life with dignity and purpose. Her journey mirrored Lily's, a story of hardship turned into hope. The emotional connection she felt with Mr. Anderson and the staff was a source of strength and inspiration. This bond was a testament to the power of community and the difference that one act of kindness can make. The staff's response to Lily and her mother was a reflection of the deep emotional connection that had developed. They had watched the transformation unfold and felt a sense of pride and fulfillment in being part of it. The restaurant became more than just a place of work. It was a community where everyone supported each other. This emotional connection was a driving force, creating a positive and inclusive environment that benefited everyone. As Lily's story continued to unfold, the emotional connection grew stronger. The patrons, staff, and Mr. Anderson himself were all part of this remarkable journey. Each day brought new challenges and triumphs, deepening the bonds that had been formed. The restaurant became a living testament to the power of compassion and the importance of second chances. This emotional connection was the heart of the story, a reminder of the enduring power of kindness and empathy. The emotional connection culminated in a sense of shared purpose and hope. Lily's journey from the streets to a place of safety and belonging was a powerful reminder of what can be achieved through compassion and community. The restaurant, once a symbol of luxury, had become a beacon of hope, a place where lives were transformed and stories of resilience and kindness were celebrated. This emotional connection was the foundation of a new beginning, a testament to the power of human connection and the enduring impact of kindness. As you've just experienced this heartwarming story of compassion and transformation, we invite you to stay connected with us. Don't miss out on the next exciting story waiting for you. Click on the video appearing on your screen to continue this journey of hope and inspiration. If you enjoyed this story and believe in the power of kindness, please subscribe to our channel and activate the notifications to keep receiving the best emotional stories that touch your heart. And if you feel moved by our content, consider supporting us through the Buy Me a Coffee link pinned in the comments. Your contribution helps us bring more inspiring stories to you daily. Thank you for being a part of our community. Let's continue spreading hope and positivity together.